Welcome to another series of Offchain podcast with myself, Alex Romero, and
Manny.
all
You're gonna know
right,
me.
that's my boy Manny, and we have a special guest today. We have Naga. I'm not
Hey
gonna even
guys.
say your last name.
Yeah.
How you all?
Welcome, Naga.
Thank you.
Yes, we are going to try and make Naga a regular occurring face here on Offchain podcast.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming by and participating today.
Thank you.
Actually, the three of us, we're just now starting to work on our working relationship. So we're getting acquainted now. And I don't know if maybe Naga, you want to introduce yourself to the audience, and we'll go
Guys,
ahead and.
So I guess for the most relevant part, I built the world's largest peer-to-peer file network at Microsoft, and then built the authentication and social graph infrastructure for Twitter, and was an early engineer on the WhatsApp payments team. We moved money across 4 continents at the speed of sending a text message, and money and fiat and crypto. But what we are working on most recently, and me and my our friends from Big Tech, we quit our jobs, and we are working on building the infrastructure with zero friction to bring 1 billion people onto Web3 without even realizing that it's Web3.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we are seeing some great traction initially, and we are just going full steam ahead on that.
Of course,
Great.
and we'll break down into like how all those things work over time. We're just doing a quick introduction to get everyone to know who everyone is really quick.
Yeah. And since it's been such a long time, we kind of want to introduce ourselves again,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I'm excited to get it started. Like the last time we did a podcast, it's probably like we're in a bear market or a bull market. So now that we're in a bear market, we're actually recommitting ourselves to this and the industry. So yeah, we're excited to actually, there's been a lot of changes and we've all been progressing in the industry. So I felt it's time for us to get back in it and to kind of like help ourselves, kind of to build what we're trying to build, and also to like bring everyone else and connect to the community.
Absolutely. And actually, since the last time we were on air, you've actually been pretty busy, Manny. Why don't you tell us what you've been working on?
Sure. All right, so since the last time I did the podcast, like I was working at an incubator, and the focus of the incubator and why I got involved was to bring a level of professionality to the Web3 space. I think one of the problems with the last year actually is that a lot of projects have come into the industry and haven't been the standard that we're used to when it comes to startup projects, and it shows a lot because when it comes to like exit scams and all this. So like we try to work with people who really want to build and to bring the process to not only create great projects, but to protect users and build for the long term. So I did that for several months, and now I'm kind of working independently, and I'm working with a company called Faisal, and we're basically a social media platform on Web3. And I know that's kind of a hot topic these days, especially with today's news with Elon taking over Twitter. And I know he has a lot of plans for Twitter, especially when it comes to crypto. So
I
hopefully,
still think he's gonna put AI into Twitter and mess it all up.
yeah, basically. Yeah.
No worries, Naga. We don't need comment. We understand politics.
Yeah. So what about you, Alex? Like we've been up to since the last iteration of Offchain.
So the last iteration of blockchain actually kind of there's been a lot of stuff going on with a lot of conventions, a lot of conferences happening in Vegas and Miami and New York and just all over the states. I haven't made it to all of them, thankfully. I think I've already gone quite mad from just going to the few that I have, to be honest with you. But it was very helpful to see the community come out and to showcase what they've been working on. And I met some really amazing people. As a matter of fact, Naga was one of the conference goers where we met, and I was just blown away by the things that he's doing. And so obviously he met some of the other teammates there, and I think that Naga was well, he's here, so that says that. But to add to what it is I've been working on, basically originally started off in the building first I started off with understanding or researching blockchain and like why there was value there, and it ultimately led me into designing and creating my own operating system. And now I'm in the process of, launching basically a digital magazine with the help of these fellows here and a lot of other teammates that are doing some really incredible things. But I think that, today with the Twitter news, I mean, I think that I think that I think that's a red herring. I think that Twitter is just a distraction. I think that them pushing for the bot sales and just creating all this media is just distracting attention from what's happening in the big picture. But you know me, Manny. Manny's known me forever. I'm a skeptic.
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna call things out like for what I think they are. But yeah, I think that it's really interesting news. I mean, what's your take on it?
Well, for me, like with all the kind of news on Twitter or skepticism about or debate on moderation, it for better or worse it works. Some people might not have everything they want. Like there are people who for better or worse
Trolls.
yeah, maybe shouldn't have been kicked off or should have. Like it's really not to me. But when it comes to like maintaining a service, they've done a lot better than most. And but for me, I kind of feel like with Elon, it's like Twitter was a social media for Web 2, and I think he's trying to like spike it and destroy it in order for something new to be created. And also like he's really good at kind of controlling the narrative in the country. So with him, that's what worries me about him buying Twitter, is that he's able more to control the narrative, like not only in regard to his companies, but in regards to politics. We've seen that in the last few weeks when it comes to Ukraine. So it is scary in that sense. And he has like a lot of people that support him, and now that he controls it, not only the narrative, he controls the system that pushes out the narrative. So we'll see what happens, and I'm not very optimistic about it. So what about you, Naga? Like, or so go ahead.
I was just gonna say, actually, that's a very interesting insight. I never thought about it that way, but I could see that being one way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious to hear Naga's take. I know that he has some experience working with them, and I don't know how much he can say or can't say, but by all means, please indulge.
Okay, this is gonna be making me unemployable, but
Nice.
here's the hot take on that I have on social media. So I think I tend to have a love-hate relationship with moderation, because on one hand you have people who are expressing their ideas, and just because it's not popular, they are being kicked off of the platform. There's that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, there is extremism in ideas. So that is that you make the platform hostile towards a certain minority group or certain race or certain sex. So I think those people, even though they might be in minority, they fuck things up for everyone else.
Yeah.
So
by the way, we do not edit on this channel.
Oh shit.
Yeah. No, it is pretty important, because like some people say freedom of speech, but some people use their freedom of speech to basically spam yours, to where you can't add to the conversation because they're the ones like just constantly pushing you, constantly yelling at you. So
and there's definitely harmful content. So for example, again, people are divided on vaccines, good versus bad, and there's Trump again on the hand. What did they inject your veins in with what, alcohol?
Oh yeah, with bleach.
Yes. See.
Hi, God.
And there are people who take that thing seriously.
Yeah.
So I
That's
think
not our audience, by the way.
so I think there is I think Facebook and Twitter, and especially Facebook, if I may say so, is doing a really good job in keeping harmful content off the platform. So if you look at the number of resources Facebook has dedicated, I know that because I see that internally, and you don't want to be exposed to that content, believe me.
Yeah.
And it's the worst crap of it. And then there are dedicated groups of people who make it their job to scrub Facebook off that content, so that what you see is maybe harmless misinformation, misguided information, or political bias. But there's the worst part of internet, a cesspool that is hidden from the regular people because there are humans and AI are continuously battling at the front lines.
Mhm.
And I think moderation is going to be really huge. And also when people talk about Web3 and blockchain and how it's going to be completely uncensored thing, do you really want it to be completely uncensored?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
I just have 2 words: authenticate humans.
Yeah.
I think that is how it should be. But then again, the question becomes when people are anonymous, they're just going to post things. So I mean, we can talk about reward schemes where
Huh.
you stake a certain amount of dollar value, and then if you
Yeah.
basically abuse the platform, you get slashed.
Yeah.
But then again, you are eliminating most of the world population from participating on the platform.
Yeah.
We
It's
just
So
want honest actors to give people, if they're gonna be telling stories, tell people it's a story. Don't try and pass it off as truth.
yeah, like in the scheme that I've talked with some of my partners about, it's like, it's like people post it because there is an audience for that stuff. Like there are stuff
yeah,
that's obviously illegal,
yeah.
but the thing that isn't illegal that might not be, relevant to someone who really doesn't want to see it, then you create the algorithms to where they won't see it. And you can do it, when it comes to like digital identity and kind of tracking someone's, actions to, and also like, and in this scheme, like you get the content that you actually want. And if someone you post content and it's hard to kind of throw into someone else's feed, if there's another way to do it, like, and if it doesn't match what you typically look for or you want to see, then you won't be able to see it.
Can I ask
Based
you guys a
on the
question?
yeah, go ahead.
And everything that you say in the context, I get it,
Mhm.
but like, where is a giant feed that tells us all the innovations that humans make on a daily basis, and
Mhm.
that's not censored, that we have access to, so we could see where we're at instead of having to guess the whole time?
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think
go ahead.
social media has a great role to play there in seeing the content that is uplifting. Because if you're familiar with the study from Facebook that showed that as a
Cambridge
platform,
Analytica.
no, I think there's like another independent study that Facebook has made internally, and what they discovered was again, I'm hard pressed to find sources,
Mhm.
but what they discovered was that platforms have the ability to influence the mood of a person just by
Oh yeah.
showing them uplifting or sad content. So being in that situation, now the question becomes, so every social media, you pick one. I mean, TikTok is literally hyper engineering your brain to get a dopamine hit
Yeah.
as much as possible.
Yeah.
So the social media platform, at the end of the day, they are competing for your user attention, competing for maximizing your dopamine release, and
Mhm.
that is detrimental to you.
Yeah. And
And if you do
as
anything other than that, then you're not working, you're not optimizing for yourself.
yeah.
So I think, I know from my peers at Google and YouTube, and maybe there's other projects at Facebook and other companies as well. Again, that's the advantage of being a company with a lot of resources, is that you can take that informed decision to moderate your usage.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
you can build controls into your application that allows people the option to limit their consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
But
you're a startup, you don't have those resources.
yeah, definitely. Is it no, I just had the thought about like, is that even possible with Web3? Because like that level of control, it's kind of hinges on that, centralized data, You need a lot of data to really know how to like how someone reacts to a post. Because I remember that, actually a lot of that research came before this last election, like I know Facebook has had like the dark side of Facebook is, like they've been able to control, global politics. I know some, US, yeah, there's they did have a big effect on, the elections in the last few years, but in other countries, they had the effect of overthrowing governments.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
it's like, because like
I would
some places like Facebook is the internet. So they have big power over the narrative, like I said before.
So I think Facebook has recognized that, and I think they're proactively taking a stance on limiting the content that can be advertised on the platform, and improving the AI systems that can
Mhm.
catch that content. I think it's just a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
So when Facebook, as was it its peak, that's when we have seen the actual use and misuse of Facebook for changing the election narrative. So
Mhm.
that's why we are seeing the bad end of it. But
Yeah.
since then, a lot of investment has been made into making sure that that thing does not happen.
Yeah.
But then again, if you look at the TV media, traditional classic media, there's also advertising on the TV itself. So when the whole Uber thing was happening about people, whether or not Uber should provide benefits for drivers, there's paid campaigning from Uber, there's paid campaigning from people who support, who are against Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
So I think if we could just say that we're gonna freaking restrict everyone from advertising, and here's like a statement of fact that this is where the website is and you should just go and find it.
Mhm.
I think we can all keep our platforms a lot cleaner, but then it's advertising dollars that are really, really lucrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then again, in Web3, if we move this entire space to Web3, and if an alternative argument that you could make is that, hey, what if we create validator nodes that talk about validating whether or not a content is fake or fictitious, or is it misinformation?
Yeah.
Didn't you
A
just
peer
end up with
review
another
process.
Facebook? Yeah, see, didn't you just end up with another Facebook? So
Yeah.
Facebook also has a team that deals with fake news or not fake news, and it tends to be probably blue leaning sometimes, all the social media. But
Yeah.
and you end up with the same thing on the Web3 space, because the architecture to make it safe for general public consumption, you
Mhm.
would end up becoming the thing that you were fighting against.
Yeah.
Right. The
That's
police.
the thing that works.
And also with those kind of algorithms, it's like once you push it in production, and then people figure out how to game it. It's like I used to do kind of like automated trading when I used to work at a brokerage firm, and also like I was playing around with like a kind of like a scraper or for news articles to kind of gauge bias. And I realized like once you get the output of it, you kind of know eventually you can game it. It's like to make it do what you want. So like something like that would also be easy to game. So and like when it comes to Facebook, like you said, like it's they didn't know the problem before it happens. So after it happened and you could see the results of it, then you could change it. So like right now, even though they've instituted a lot of programs to make sure people aren't abusing it, like people will still abuse it. They'll figure it out. As
Right.
people are endlessly creative.
And I do want to thank Naga for standing up for all the social media platforms, because me and Manny make it a habit to just bash them.
Yeah.
So someone needs to stand up for those guys. So Naga, we appreciate you for doing that for them.
I mean, I was briefly working on I was on the engineering on the compliance part of on the Twitter as well as WhatsApp. So I know the effort that we actually take into making sure that the content is safe, because at the end of the day, we are consuming our products.
Right. Yeah,
It's not
no.
that we are shipping it for someone out there. We are our consumers as well. So at least in some areas of the product, we take personal interest in making sure that contents are safe. And then again, there's of course limits against what we can do for the public. There's always advertising dollars that is required to make sure that you bring in that moderation and effective filters into it. So there's always a trade-off that you can do. So and that's the reason why you still see items such as 20 reasons why your ex hated you, right? And you look at that and it's like, huh, I wonder what are those reasons. So it's like those BuzzFeed no good articles that literally serves no purpose. They exist because those are the things that pay for everything else that happens. That's the reason why you and I are able to get this free tire and then connect on Facebook.
That makes me sad.
And
I'm happy that we get to do this, but it makes me sad that people have to dumb themselves down to get content.
Yeah. Well, it's for me, like that's kind of why I have a perspective that Elon is there to kind of like wreck Twitter, because like like you said, like it's a balance. Like you're on a tightrope walk and people are throwing things at you. So like he's clearly ideological, and he's not dumb. So he knows what he's doing, and if he upset that tightrope, it's gonna fall. So like when it comes to content, like we'll see exactly if he's trying to like improve the content, or when it comes to moderation, or he's not. Because he's entering into it down billions of dollars. Like he was forced to buy it. He's going to try to spin it that, I really want it actually. And so we'll see what happens.
Also, like the thing with Elon is that he believes he has great ideas on a lot of different things, and most often that's true.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think with Twitter especially, he would end up discovering that Twitter already has experimented with a lot of things, and there is a reason why things work the way they work is because they've tried and that didn't work. I'm hard pressed to remember particular incidences where that was true.
But they didn't have Tesla AI.
But there are great ideas, but they don't actually always come to fruition because there are limitations on why it doesn't work. So I think he would end up discovering that as he picks up the reins on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure his R&D budget is nice.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, because like he did have to lose a lot of goodwill at Tesla to get the money to pay for it. So they're already tired of him spending all his money on other stuff, because they recently also bought he bailed out the solar company. So that was like a big hit, and then this, they're spending more money than they really should on it. So we'll see.
Any chance that Tesla had something to do? Did he actually purchase Twitter?
Yeah,
I think he's legally required to purchase by this Friday.
Yeah, and he's using some of the stock from Tesla and also like some investors, but like he recently, within the last year, had to bail out Solar City. Now it's like Tesla Solar. So yeah, so it's at a low point in his finances. So yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, I mean, this is something that we'll definitely keep an eye on, and I know that we're getting close to the end here. I just wanted to really take the opportunity to introduce Naga to the mix here, and my screen just went blank, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at.
Yeah.
So we have Naga now on the team. Naga, you think we can count on you coming back to helping us figure out some more of this Web3 landscape in the near future?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely, because you're definitely you're smarter than both of us combined. So we're gonna need your opinion.
I'm glad that my appearances are deceiving. The glasses are
love you,
telling.
Naga.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. But it's great meeting you guys. Let's continue.
Likewise. Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by, and we'll have all the links and everything on the chat description. So keep tuned, and we'll keep you posted as often as possible.
All right. See you, everyone.